is Comic Geek Speak, episode 1831, Previews.
Welcome to Comic Geek Speak. I'm Ian Levinstein.
I'm Adam Murdo.
I'm Eberly.
Whipping out your thing on camera again, Chris.
Murd, I just wanted to kind of put that T-ball up and see what you do with it. Well done.
What a revolting development. Welcome one and all to the show, and previews. Say it 3 times and you make it appear.
What a previews.
Yes, and Murd back with the physical copy. That's what we're talking about.
Yep. Thank you, DCBS, for actually, sending me some stuff this month.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yep, I got my physical copy too.
Nice. I'm digital. But
we're a futurist, my friend. You always were a futurist.
Yes. Well, that also the easier for me to share with the peoples on the videos. So that too. But before we get into the main spiel and the list, which by the way I did throw out there on the Comic Geek Speak supergroup, we will be going to there occasionally, as I was asking for some picks and suggestions from the group this time around.
Oh, great.
Remember to do that. So there are a couple that will be thrown out later on, but I want to remind everybody that we thank you, the listeners, you over at patreon.com/comicgeekspeak for all your continued support of the show. We would not be able to do this without you. And you keep the lights on for both the show and the studio. And it's all because of you, baby. It's all because of you.
Indeed.
Patreon.com/comicgeekspeak. And if you'd like to support the editing of the show and my future endeavors, there is a comic timing to come once I get my ass editing it. But patreon.com/comic timing on that one. And when that is released, it will be released on the Comic Timing feed, and then probably about a week later here on the Comic Geek Speak feed, because I have the power and I'm going to use it.
Maestro!
Also extra content for you people. So good times all around. All right. And with that, let us head over to the previews. And previews this month is issue 398. And on the first cover, it's Panther from Tom Snigoski and Jeannie Atkinson with artist Igor Lima out of Dynamite. We will get there when we get there. But let's focus on the secondary cover, shall we? As, we'll be talking about this just a little bit, probably. Saga's back, baby. Nuff said. Deserved the cover treatment, to say the least.
Absolutely.
Yep. And we will definitely discuss that pretty soon, because guess what? It's Image, so it's first up. So that makes life a lot easier.
There's another exciting offering in Image, something else that's a real blast from the past. I think it's the first book on their... Murd knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes, and it's something that the faithful have been awaiting even longer than the Acolytes of Saga have been.
There it is.
Ooh, how about them apples? There we are. And mind you, all part of the return of Kurt Busiek to Image Comics. And that's what Arrowsmith here is all about. Arrowsmith behind enemy lines on page 34. Busiek and Pacheco.
What's wonderful, this is a blending of World War I history and fantasy. And Ian, what year did this come out? I don't remember now.
That's a really good question. Yeah. I'll have to check that as you're talking about it.
The concept was so dynamic and unique, and I loved every minute of it. But it was way back when.
Long enough ago that I have read it, Chris. So that.
Okay. So even the time bubble has caught up to it. Go ahead, Ian.
So it came out originally in 2003.
Wow,
that's what I would have guessed.
Holy mackerel!
Yep, and was collected in 2004 as Arrowsmith Book 1, So Smart in Their Fine Uniforms.
Yep. And I think there's a reissue of that story in this month's previews as well, if I remember correctly. So if you haven't read the original and you like one or both of the two concepts I just mentioned, please, you're gonna love this. Plus, it's Kurt Busiek and Pacheco. I mean, it's the artwork is stunning. The attention to detail, plus the fantasy element thrown in. Murd, what'd you think of it? You've read it.
Well, I thought Busiek did. He created a wonderful alternate history here. I mean, it was right up my street, certainly, combining World War I history with the introduction of sorcery and just the alternative geography in and of itself was impressive human-like work, where he just imagined a world where the original 13 British colonies were broken up in very different ways, and instead of creating 50 new states eventually, like Connecticut extended all the way to Lake Erie, for example. It's just the map of the United States in this version of reality is extremely different, and it was well thought out by Busiek and his contemporaries. He did consult with some other people who were buffs of alternate history to come up with this world, and just threw us into the hellscape of World War I Europe, rendered even more hellish by the presence of things like of giants and trolls and dragons and just magic description.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to get the trade because I'm gonna reread the original before I read this. But
I'd like to point out that the original was published by Wildstorm's Cliffhanger imprint.
That's right. Wow. Holy mackerel.
Yep. So let's
wait, you said 2003, right?
2003. Yep, you got it. 6-issue miniseries in 2003, so it's been nearly 20 years. Yep.
All right.
Time flies, man. Time flies. And yes, offered again are a whole bunch of other items by Busiek this month. But look at this gorgeous Pacheco artwork that
he hasn't skipped a beat.
Oh, so great. And then on the very next page,
this is a really interesting concept.
Yeah, page 38, Joe Hill's Reign #1 of 5. Gem of the month for good reason. Joe Hill and David M. Booher on writing with Zoe Thorogood on artwork. And it's so
I love the concept. It's a world where there's a catastrophic weather the downpours are nail-like splinters of crystal that can literally tear your skin off.
Yep.
And this couple trying to survive in this new sort of apocalyptic environment. Wow, it's Joe Hill. I mean,
an escalating apocalyptic event, they describe it, and you ain't kidding. And with that artwork on the cover, like that certainly gets the point across.
Yeah.
And the artwork on the ensuing pages as well, quite good, quite youthful and vibrant.
Yep.
And I dig the use of color, how spare it can be at times. Background wise, actually makes the front artwork pop that much more. So good stuff. Good stuff. And then on page 42, as announced at New York Comic Con by me on Facebook, Saga number 55.
He scooped it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, me and every other person who was at that panel, please. Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples return for Saga issue 55, released 2 days before my birthday on January 26th for only $3. It's a 48-page return. Man, oh man!
Nice way of saying thanks for waiting.
Oh,
yep, that's what they say out explicitly in their ad copy here.
Yep. 44 pages of story for the regular $2.99 price point, without variant covers or gimmicky renumbering, and I'm very happy to see that. Saga returns, and this guy who collects it in trade is probably going to pick up issue 55 anyway, because it's been
attaboy.
Yeah.
Well, it's been what? I think it's been 3 years, right?
Yeah. No, definitely, because we've been talking about it for 3 years.
Yeah, I mean,
is it Saga yet? Is it Saga yet? Is it Saga yet?
I've been raving about this book since it first came out. We started to talk about it, and then, it ended on this incredible cliffhanger. or went on hiatus, I should say. And then we've been waiting ever since to see what's going to happen. But it's a testimony to how great this book is that I've never felt any kind of bitterness or impatience, because I have such faith in the creative team.
Yeah.
But I knew however long it takes them to do it, that's fine, because, that's how good this book is. And again, for people who aren't familiar, it's just a wonderful, it's like almost like a space operatic feel to it, but it's really fundamentally about a family trying to navigate this galactic spanning war that puts these two races against each other. And of course, the family, the husband is one race, the wife is a soldier from the other, and then they have their offspring, and it's all that ensues as they're trying to escape the terrible gravitational pull of this conflict. And it's all narrated through their daughter, apparently when she's older. So but it's anyone who can appreciate the dynamics of family, especially when it's cast just like this, is really going to love this book. And Fiona Staples' artwork is, well, look at that cover.
Oh yeah, and there's clearly been a time jump again. We're gonna definitely fill in those gaps in one way or the other. But Fiona Staples, I mean, for good reason that this was delayed, because Fiona Staples stopped to have a kid and all. So there's that, and the fact that she came back and at all is a testament to just how much she loves this book and she loves this property. And welcome back, Saga.
And by the way, at Comic-Con, did Vaughn talk at all about his involvement with Buck Rogers?
That's one of the few things that did not come up. So no.
Okay.
He mentioned pretty much everything else, though. He mentioned Paper Girls. He mentioned, Why the Last Man. We didn't know at the time that Why the Last Man was going to be concluding so soon. But it may still get picked up by someone else, but it hasn't happened yet. And Paper Girls premieres on Amazon Prime very, very shortly as well.
I'm glad, because I bought the omnibus because I wanted to read the whole story.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
and offered again, pretty much every single way of reading Saga, you can do it.
The scroll up a little bit to the bottom. I'm sorry. So the compendium with the finger pointing, that's the whole thing right up to the issue from the last issue they did. So
nice.
If you want to splurge a bit.
Yeah, very, very similar to what they did with Invincible back in the day. They had that giant compendium, which did, I think, 50 issues all in one shot. All right, let's move on to Wyatt Kennedy, shall we? On page 44, Bolero, part of Generation Image, with Luana Vecchio, a new series from two bright-eyed and bushy-tailed little scamps. I like that description. Woman running away from a broken heart discovers a mother key into parallel universes. The rules are, the key can work on any door. The mother will only let you visit 53 universes. Do not ask to speak to the mother. Never hop more than 53 times. Yeah, so I'm in.
If only they made it 52, maybe pants would read it.
Yeah. I mean, it's 52 and one for good measure.
Right. They very specifically one-upped the DC multiverse with that number, I think.
Most definitely, yeah.
It sounds like an interesting, playful, low-key, riff on the multiverse concept.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the idea of someone deciding to explore the multiverse to get away from a bad breakup, as opposed to some crisis of cosmic import.
Yeah, right. And mind you, the way it's described is, talk about the bad breakup. It's Sex Criminals meets Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great book, great movie. All right.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So yeah, Wyatt Kennedy, new name and a new series. This begins as a mini-series and may potentially become more than that. That's on page 44. Some preview pages afterwards. Good artwork. Very, very good artwork. Okay. Shall we discuss Monkey Meat?
Take the lead, brother.
It's called Monkey Meat. All right, we're good. No, I really just wanted to say Monkey Meat. But,
I know you did.
Page 48, Junie Ba introduces a new fantasy universe in an anthology series. The Monkey Meat Company made its fortune selling cans of processed meat all around the world. Using that money to fuel their wacky experiments, they turned their native island into a magical, hyper-capitalist hellscape where even demons have to pay rent. Yeah, this sounds crazy.
Very positive, thought-provoking kind of crazy.
Yes, definitely.
And the title is super fun to say. You are absolutely right.
Monkey meat, monkey meat, monkey meat. And it's an anthology. So there we go. Page 48. You're going to get some nice variety here, as you could even tell by the preview pages on the next couple of pages. And yeah, good stuff. All right, what say we for the rest of Image, gents?
I noticed they're doing a reprint of the Cruel Summer story from Criminal by Brubaker and Phillips. And I always like to shout out whenever they have any kind of offering. So I don't have the page number in front of me. I apologize. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
But it's from Criminals issue 1 and then 5 to 12. So it's just exploring, because the Criminal stories are all interconnected in some way, or they're with various characters or legacy characters within that world.
Yep.
And again, I'm a broken record, but it's so good. I have to keep returning to it. If you love crime noir, and if you want to see probably the greatest creative team operating comics,
yep.
Just pick up anything they do, because you can jump right in. But I can't recommend this enough.
That's on page 60, by the way. So Cruel Summer trade paperback, as you said, collecting issue 1 and then 5 through 12 of Criminal. I have the giant Criminal hardcover.
There you go.
Because I remember I got it during what was known affectionately at the time as the Amazon glitch sale, where they had a whole bunch of hardcovers for dirt cheap, even though they weren't supposed to be.
Oh, I remember that. Okay, yep.
Pretty sure I got it for $10. And that, and I think I got.
That's all right. He still got his rocket ship.
Oh yeah. I think I also got Fall of the Mutants with that same
chestnut
collection. Yep. So there we go. But we'll also point out for a little bit further up on page 58.
Yep, there it is.
As previously mentioned, Aerosmith Volume 1, So Smart in Their Fine Uniforms, recollected here under Image's banner.
I'm going to grab that.
All 6 issues of that original miniseries by Busek and Pacheco on page 58.
What else for Image, gentlemen?
Page 61, I'll throw out there if you were waiting for a hardcover collection of Firepower. This collects the first 12 issues as well as the Prelude original graphic novel. It goes for $50, but I'm sure you can get it for cheaper. Page 61 there. Excellent Kirkman and Somni action with a very much an Iron Fist flair to it. You got anything in Image you want to throw out there, Murd?
Not at the moment. Sorry, I had my mic on mute because I have my parents' dog in the room here with me. She's very noisily chewing on a plastic bone.
It's all part of the cozy atmosphere, my friend.
All good. Well, what I will point out is on page 64, Jeremy Holt's Made in Korea collects the first 6 issues of that. Yet again, something we've mentioned as it was being released in singles. And here is the first 6 issues of that, all about a Korean 9-year-old named Jesse, who's adopted and sent to live with a lovely couple in America. Socially awkward, yet equipped with a seemingly encyclopedic brain. The young girl's journey through the complexities of race, gender, and identity hits a fork in the road when she discovers she's not entirely human yet. Good twist on the the immigration aspect of life itself on page 64. Mr. Higgins on the very next page has Ordinary Gods Volume 1 that collects the first 6 issues of that.
I've never read this.
Yeah, this is Kyle Higgins and Joe Clark with art by Felipe Watanabe and Frank William. And first 6 issues of this sci-fi action series. And yet again, a youth, because that's how Kyle Higgins rolls.
Yep, collecting the first arc there, and the second arc begins on page 56 of issue number 7.
Well, there you go. This is 65 for the first volume of that. And I think that's about it for me.
Me too.
We've mentioned Trover Saves the Universe before, so I'll throw that out again on page 67. This collects the first 5 issues of that from the creator of Rick and Morty, or one of the creators of Rick and Morty, written and drawn by Tess Stone from Justin Roiland's mind. Trover Saves the Universe, Volume 1. All right, let's head over to Dark Horse, shall
One
we?
quick thing, Ian. I just got the trade for the first 6 issues of The Good Asian.
Oh, nice.
So I'll make sure I'll have that read before our next comic talk, so I can give an assessment of that.
Well, I have the first volume of Radiant Black still to read, so that's definitely on my list.
All right, stop right where you are, right there.
Oh, 100%, sir. The floor is yours.
So it's a Vietnam comic written by Matt Kent. Okay,
and that's all we need, folks. Good night, everybody.
It's actually a horror story in the context of the Vietnam War. So I'm definitely going to give this a shot.
Yep. On page 90, this one. Matt Kent with art by Tyler Jenkins. Apache Delivery Service, number 1 of 4.
So it's a missing treasure story. So when Japan occupied what they then called Indochina, a general in the story left some treasure, and they're trying to find it within the context of the conflict in Vietnam. So
loving the artwork.
Look at that artwork.
Very, very creepy.
Yep.
Incredibly creepy in all the right ways.
Look at that cover.
Oof, man. The Sword of Hyperborea? Hyperborea, maybe?
Hyperborea. Yep.
Hyperborea. There we go. Thank you, Murd. Mike Mignola, Rob Williams on the writing, Lawrence Campbell on artwork, and from the ancient warrior Gal Dinar to Sir Edward Grey to the BRPD's Agent Howard's, the iconic Hyperborean sword from the world of Hellboy has landed in many influential hands, and this has been no accident. So we go into the history of the sword and the history of the wielders here in this Hellboy universe tale on page 92. All right. Whole bunch of Mignola stuff this month, as well as volume 4 of Sin City, That Yellow Bastard, the 4th edition. Brand spanking new.
I haven't read any of those in years. Wow.
Yeah, I know. This is a brand spanking new slipcase version of it.
30 years.
30 years. Time flies. Brand new cover and brand new slipcase on page 97. $25 just for the trade or $100 for the slipcase. You be the judge.
Or you can go to like a show and probably find a gently used copy in a bin somewhere. So
that is true.
If economy is a factor, just do that.
Well, let's talk about page 99.
Oh, Bendis and Gatos.
Enough said. Pearl Volume 1 collects the first story of their collaboration.
Yeah, I've never read this.
Neither have I. Neither have I. Yeah, this is 6 issues here. And it's all about an outsider among outsiders, a Japanese American born in the world ruled by the American Yakuza. Now she uses her skills as a tattoo artist to make a living in San Francisco. That all changes the day she meets Rick Araki and saves his life. Rick is another tattoo artist who's run afoul of a different Yakuza clan. By interfering with their hit on him, Pearl risks drawing her patron into a deadly gang war.
With this creative team, it's definitely worth checking out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And Ian, just to be technical, it's Yakuza.
Yakuza. Yakuza. Yakuza. Yakuza. All right, fine. Page 99.
Black Hammer. Just keep reading it. Everybody, you love superheroes. You love Golden Age deconstruction. Read Black Hammer.
Yep.
Roger Wilco.
And the unbelievable teens from the world of Black Hammer Volume 1 on page 101, as well as some more Black Hammer Reborn action with a cool-ass cover.
Yep.
Lemire and Malachi Ward knocking it out of the park.
Anything else for Dark Horse Brothers?
Don't think so, but I'm flip through just to be on the safe side. Steve Niles, the 2nd edition of Criminal Macabre, the complete Cal McDonald stories. A complete collection of Criminal Macabre prose stories by Steve Niles, featuring 2 brand new chapters and an introduction by horror legend John Carpenter. That's pretty cool. Page 107. Prose stories, baby.
There's a self-contained one-shot Hellboy and the BPRD story on page 94 that I'm probably going to pick up. Hellboy and the BPRD, 1957, Falling Sky. Hellboy and one of his colleagues from the BPRD, a cryptozoologist, go to the woods of Virginia to hunt down a giant creature.
Yeah, that does seem right up your alley.
Yep, short, sweet, good for your Hellboy fix.
Yeah.
I just feel soothed because Murd pronounced the word cryptozoologist. So. Sonorous, my friend, sonorous.
I'll try to pick out a few more choice polysyllables for you as the evening wears on, Chris.
And Sean Martinborough on the
Oh, great artist.
Yep,
wonderful artist.
Good
Little
stuff.
quick anecdote about Sean Martinborough. One of the first, when I did some shows under my Wild Pig banner, the first one I did, I had invited him, and I think he hurt himself. Something happened but then he still came anyway, just to kind of hang out for a little bit, which was really nice of him because he didn't live close.
Oh wow!
Just very, very, very classy guy and hell of a great artist.
Very cool. Very cool.
Some people might know him from his Batman work, or he was the penciler on Thief of Thieves, which is a fantastic series.
Nice. Page 109 collects the 4-issue miniseries that I very much remember mentioning in previews just for this tagline. Killer Queens, they put the sass in assassin.
I love the edgy riff on classic pulp covers there, too.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. And this collects all 4 issues of that for only $20. And I'm sure you can probably get it for a solid 20 or 30% off, depending on where you go. Page 109. And more Usagi action, which, as we mentioned last episode, is a Ringo Award winner for ongoing series, and Stan Sakai won for himself, a Ringo himself.
God, I still have to read this series. Never read it.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely gonna get there, man. Because page 111 here collects volume 4, the second edition of it. And
I have to pick up volume 1. I heard Deemer saying, "What are you waiting for?"
Well, our listener Michael Woodham made sure that we mentioned Usagi in one way or the other, so that definitely happened.
Yep, we'll have another chance later on. In fact.
Page 113. Let's get some manga before the manga section, shall we?
Oh.
Cat and Gamer, Volume 1. Wataru Nadatani. And Zach Davidson translated it. Zach's actually a friend of mine. And he's a super cool dude. And I'm always happy to see his work in previews one way or the other. He's been doing some stuff for Marvel recently as well. But available here for the first time, Cat and Gamer Volume 1. Rico, a 29-year-old office worker with an obsession for video games, finds her quiet life upended when she takes in a stray cat. Her coworkers can't quite figure it out. She never talks about her personal life. She never works overtime, and she never joins them for happy hour. Is she antisocial? Nope, she's rushing home to play video games. One day, a stray cat is found in the office parking lot, and before Rico knows it, the cat has moved in with her. Having no experience with pets, Rico uses lessons drawn from video games to guide her in cat care, while her cute companion tries to understand her behavior through the cat's worldview. Sounds freaking adorable.
Yep. Two entities who don't completely understand what it means to be human, learning lessons from each other.
Exactly. That's on page 113, Cat and Gamer, Volume 1. That'll do it for Dark Horse as we move on to DC. Hey, guess what? There's a Batman on the cover. That never happens.
All that matters, though, is the writer.
That's I know. We're definitely going to get there. In fact, we're going to get there right now on page 1. Oh, no, never mind. Page 2. But either way, we'll start here with Batman the Knight. Chip Zdarsky on writing. Art and cover by Carmine de
Giandomenico.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What do I do without you, Murd?
I'm here for you, man.
Yep. The origin of Batman and his never-ending fight against crime, done by Zdarsky. I'm in, baby.
And exploring an interesting period when Bruce is traveling around the world acquiring his skills and abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really looking forward to this.
Yep, it's,
Absolutely.
part of his life that's been explored, or we should say overexplored, I guess, a lot less than his actual origin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And he's good on Zdarsky for choosing that ground to tread.
Absolutely, and he's got 10 issues to do it. So that's going to be plenty of time to get the story he wants told. I think he'll do a damn fine job of it. It's on page number 2 there, and some of the artwork on the following pages. Yep, this is going to look great on my shelf, all collected. Page 5, Detective Comics number 1049 has a Huntress story by Mariko Tamaki. As again, the rest of the Bat family is stepping up as Bruce is not in Gotham at the moment. And we get to see some stories for characters that we probably haven't seen a lot of in a while. And we get Huntress here along with Nightwing and Batwoman as they're dealing with an undercover mission, which has turned into a rescue operation as the mysteries of Dr. Ware's Arkham Tower begin to unravel. That's on page 5, and artwork by Ivan Hayes and Danny Miki. Like, damn. They're putting out the heavy hitters. I like these realistic covers, too.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. Page 6, Detective number 1050 is the same creative team continuing to tell the same story, but it's a 48-page milestone issue with a backup. Actually, a couple of backups. One written by Matthew Rosenberg with art by Fernando Blanco, and the second one written by Mark Wade with art by Dan Mora, Grant Morrison's collaborator on the Klaus comic.
Yeah, and look at the designs that Mora has. Old school, world's finest. Mm-hmm. Bruce and Clark. Like,
look at that grin.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Kind of wish they could have given this to us as a standalone story.
I hear you completely. Yep. Hell,
it says they're doing an upcoming series.
They are.
Too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I can't wait, and just that combo in general, Wade and Moore, it's bound to be fun times.
This is resolicited, right, Ian? This special here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It is definitely resolicited. Yeah. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 months ago, if I remember correctly. But with John Paul Leon, certainly that makes sense.
Right.
But yeah, it's very fitting to see his artwork there, along with Tommy Lee Edwards, Bernard Chang, Mitch Gerards, and more. And it's gonna be a really, really pretty issue. That much is a given.
This has been Batman Catwoman Special number 1 on page 8.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much there. Pinch hitting as always. And John Paul Leon too. God, I'm gonna miss him. Yeah. Too many people gone too soon, gentlemen. Too many people gone too soon.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's talk about Dark Knights of Steel for a minute. As I've heard very positive things about the first issue of this. And look at that variant cover for the third issue.
Are these the DC characters in a sword and sorcery environment? Is that?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yep.
It's Elseworlds, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Elseworlds without the title. Please bring back Elseworlds as a title. Thank you very much.
Great title.
Yeah, it is. It really, really is. But they don't seem to want to use it. But what are you gonna do? But yeah, this is very much a what if, and I believe one of the parts of this story is that I mean, unless I'm combining my stories here, but I'm pretty sure Jor-El and Lara come down in the spaceship with Clark in this universe. Only it's medieval times and a very, very different DC universe. So that things, very, very different things happen from there. Tom Taylor
Piqued my interest.
Yep, Tom Taylor on the writing, art and cover by Yasmin Putri. Dark Knights of Steel number 3 on page 10.
Yeah, I might run out to my local shop and snag number 1 when that is out. So give it a shot because I missed this. I didn't order this.
Yeah, the black and whites on the artwork too.
Yeah, it looks great.
Excellent stuff. So how about this? The Gold Lantern Saga. Yep.
on page 12, looks like Bendis getting a chance to finish up or tie up some loose ends on some things he'd wanted to do in his last Legion series that didn't last as long as some might have hoped. And he's drawing in the Justice League just for added interest, I guess. It's going to be a 6-issue miniseries with art by Scott Godleski.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Justice League versus the Legion of Superheroes #1 on sale on January 11th. That is on page 12. And I'll also point out that if you want more Justice League Legion of Superheroes action, watch the latest season of Young Justice. And I'll just go ahead and leave it at that. Because they're finally getting there. All right, let's talk about this on page 13. Peter Tomasi, art and cover by Victor Bogdanovich. Superman and Robin special #1. Love the cover here. And just the fact that these two are still as close friends as they are, even after, Jonathan was aged up, makes me super happy. Because the Damian Jonathan team was a lot of fun. It was good stuff. And Peter Tomasi wrote them damn well, especially Jonathan. Tomasi wrote him during his time on Superman. And now we get more of Damian and Jonathan here with this special as they put evil to bed past its bedtime. I'm sure you have something to say on page 14.
Well, all that matters is the writer. It's Innes doing the Peacemaker concept.
Mm-hmm.
So that assures all kinds of possibilities.
Oh, yeah.
And how he's going to approach this, no doubt, with a very, I don't know if cynical is the right word, but it's going to be edgy. It's going to explore the concept, I'm sure, in ways that are going to be divisive and disturbing and no doubt sublime.
Most definitely.
Yep. I can't wait to read this because it's in us.
Oh yeah. And this time is timed very, very well release wise, as I'm pretty sure the Peacemaker series is set to arrive on HBO Max, if not that week, then like shortly thereafter. Because I know it's premiering, I think, late January. So it's pretty close. And then on page 16, something else that this is also being resolicited, correct? Because I feel like Batman the Detective has been issued before, but I could be wrong. Tom Taylor, art by the amazing Andy Kubert and Sandra Hope. It's a horrifying tragedy in the United Kingdom involving Batman. So we get to see Batman in London. Good stuff.
Is this a what, like an OGN?
I believe so.
Okay, because 160 pages, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It is a hardcover, so yeah, and
Okay.
You're right, 160 pages right there, and there certainly was not a single issue version of this out in form.
Might try this if the budget allows.
Yep, page 16, Batman the Detective. A whole lot about Batman this month. Whole lot of Batman. And now this is Black Label, but this is Batman the Imposter. Is this in the movie universe? That's the question, because the logo looks pretty similar, and so does the costume. But I could be wrong. Mattson Tomlin, art and cover by Andrea Sorrentino here. Bruce Wayne's mission as the Batman has only been underway for a year or so, but he can tell he's making a difference. Unfortunately, he's made some powerful enemies. Shock of shocks on that one, right? There's a second Batman haunting Gotham's rooftops and alleys, and this one has no qualms about murdering criminals live and on tape. With the entire might of the Gotham City Police Department and Gotham's rich and powerful coming down on his head, Batman must find his imposter and somehow clear his name. But how can you prove your innocence from behind a mask? Page 17. Cool concept. It's been done before with a bunch of other characters, but not a lot with Batman. Page 19 has the Infinite Frontier collection, which I will definitely be picking up.
Yeah, I want to read this. I've heard so much good stuff about this.
Oh yeah, yep, definitely. With Baracco Superman at the front there. along with Roy Harper, Barry Allen, Alan Scott, Jade and Obsidian. It's a good team. And
is that Lex Luthor's chauffeur?
I think it might be Cameron Chase, actually.
Okay.
Oh, well, that just makes me even more interested. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm definitely in.
Well, you should be anyway, Ian. There's lots of good DC multiverse texture going on there.
Oh, I know, but you had me at Chase. Chase is one of my favorite series of all time. So, like, that's as if I wasn't going to pick it up before. That just seals the deal.
Okay. Well, I'm not 100% sure that's who it is. I'm just saying that's what it looks like.
Was Chase was a brief series, wasn't it?
Yes, Dan Curtis Johnson.
And I'm trying to remember now.
Indeed.
I'm trying to remember now because I remember was she a detective or?
She was an agent of the DEO, the Department of Extranormal Operations.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being great and short. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, she was like an Agent Scully figure,
gotcha.
Kind of exploring strange mysteries in the DC universe.
Yeah. She had a whole thing where she was trying to find out the identity of Batman. That was one of the issues, and she had it down between Alan Scott and Bruce Wayne, and she chose Alan Scott. And yes, it does indeed look like Chase is involved because I just Googled Infinite Frontier and Chase, and it came up. So, enough said.
All right.
Yep. Joshua Williamson, art by Zermanico and Paul Pelletier and Jesus Marino, page 19, and I am going to buy it. Page 22 for the younger. I just like to point out any of these young adult graphic novels. Teen Titans: Beast Boy Loves Raven, written by Kami Garcia, art and cover by Gabriel Piccolo. Chances are, if any of your kids, or even if you are a fan of Young Justice or even the old Titans series, you can definitely pick up Teen Titans Beast Boy
cover.
Raven here. Yep, page 22. And now to the part of the book where they fit as many things as possible onto the.
Well, it's a much slimmer catalog now.
Yeah. Still not that big a fan.
I forgot to order the first issue of Batman versus Bigby. I'm going to pick it up at my local shop because I really want to read that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Bill Willingham, art by Brian Level and Jay Leestein. On page 25 there, issue 5 is solicited this month.
Maybe it'll get me off my butt so I can finally finish Fables.
Well, Blue and Gold number 6 on the very next page, page 26. Booster and Beetle are lost in space. Nice. Dan Jurgens and Ryan Sook.
And if the cover's any indication, Blackheart is back.
Yeah.
Find out what the guy's really supposed to be like. You know, and he's not much like the fellow who was killed on the beaches of whatever island that was in the Suicide Squad movie.
Oh God, yeah.
And directly below that on page 26, this is a series that folks shouldn't sleep on. Deathstroke Inc. number 5. This series is written by Josh Williams and is the same person who wrote Infinite Frontier and is writing Justice League Incarnate, which spins out of Infinite Frontier. And he's one of those writers that appreciates the full depth and width of the DC universe / multiverse beyond Batman. You know, he likes to play with some fun, lesser known characters. And here it's kind of a team up story, this series as a whole, between Deathstroke and Black Canary of all people, as they gamble about encountering all kinds of DC universe characters. In this case, they go out of the. They travel interdimensionally and they encounter Libra, the mysterious figure who founded the first Injustice gang, and who became briefly an important figure in the DCU again during the lead-up to Final Crisis under Grant Morrison.
Nice. Well, I'm going to point out something on this very same page in this very same solicitation where I yet again have to ask, who is editing this thing? And page 26, you didn't capitalize Black Canary.
Oh, look at that.
Yep, that jumped out at me too.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's going through an E.E. Cummings phase.
Oh, man. It's just so simple. All it takes is a little bit of proofreading, DC. Come on. Pick up your game.
No one, not even the rain, has such small hands. That might have been a paraphrase. I don't know if that was a direct quote, but
Nice.
By the way, I'll point this out when we get our next comic talk. Human Target #1. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it continues to have the best covers.
Yeah, but when we get the next comic talk, I'll go into it in depth, but it was sensational.
Yep.
So
Blue Beetle involved in Human Target #4, which confirmed.
Well, not only that, one other thing else, because Shane really has to read this.
Mm-hmm.
The story is tied to the original Justice League International.
Love it.
So Shane really needs to read this book.
Oh yeah, he's gonna. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
And we get more Royal Flush Gang action with Bendis' Justice League on that very same page 27, Justice League number 72. Ooh, I like the look of that Looney Tunes on the very next page. Bugs in professional wrestling at its finest. Looney Tunes 264. And also, Nightwing continues to have, in general, just overall, the best covers out of DC Comics. And that continues here with this very simple cover by Bruno Redondo.
So dynamic.
Wonderfully done. Page 28, Nightwing number 88. I got to read this series, too, because, I mean, Tom Taylor is an excellent writer. And I've been hearing nothing but positives about it. I await you telling me whether One Star Squadron is worth it or not, Murd.
Yep, I'll do my recon and report back.
Excellent. Page 29, solicit is the second issue of that one. Point out on page 30, Superman 78, number 6. The final battle for Metropolis is here, as this is the 6th and final issue for now of Superman 78, number 6. Bottled City of Kandor action.
Always fun.
Mm-hmm.
At the bottom of page 31 there, Flash number 778. Everything I just said about Josh Williamson a few minutes ago, you can pretty much copy and paste under the name of Jeremy Adams. He's another guy who likes to play with all the DCU toys.
Is that Detective Chimp?
It is definitely Detective Chimp. It's Wally versus Justice League Dark, including Detective Chimp, in Gem World with Eclipso lurking in the background. So, yeah.
Peter Rios, paging Peter Rios. Holy
mackerel. Beautiful. And both the main cover and the alternate cover are great for that one on Flash 778. I'll point out on page 32, it's offered again, Batman the Penguin. Rediscover the history of the Batman and the Penguin's greatest clashes. Collects Detective Comics 58.
Look at those writers.
Oh, beautiful. Bill Finger, Doug Munch, Alan Grant, John Ostrander, Paul Dini, and Jason Aaron. Damn. Page 32 there.
Yep. I may be putting that into my card, actually.
Nice.
So what I'll be putting in my card is on the right here. So Catwoman of East End Omnibus. So
yeah.
I've read this whole series. I've never owned it in my library as in a collected form. It's Brubaker's take on Catwoman, working with Darwin Cook, Cameron Stewart, and Javier Polito, and then later on, Paul Galassi.
Oh, wow.
So for me, these are the greatest Catwoman stories I've ever read, period.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't recommend this enough. I'm glad they're putting the entire thing out in one collection.
Well, it'll be out in March of this next year. So this is a very advanced solicitation.
Yep.
It's out on March 29th. And I actually see myself buying it as well. It's well worth it.
I mean, it's $100 for the discount, but please, to the listeners, this book is worth it. It is the best, probably the best take on her character and her history that I've read.
Yep. Well, on that very page, by the way, on the bottom there, DC Comics Generations, which is something that I was looking forward to reading, is now collected in full with Dan Jurgens, Andy Schmidt, and Robert Vendetti. Artwork by Yvonne Hayes, Brian Hitch, Yannick Paquette, John Romita Jr., Kevin Nolan, and Doug Braithwaite, Rags Morales. I mean, it's a wealth of artists there. And yeah, I'm gonna have to check this out on page 33, DC Comics Generations.
Yep. It's another, timey-wimey, reality warping kind of story. It's got a super team of characters from throughout the DC timeline, including heroic Sinestro, Purple Gloves, early career Batman, Kamandi, the last boy on Earth. You can see Booster Gold, the female Dr. Light, Kimiyohoshi, and others. And it's kind of an alternative to the whole Dark Knight's Metal kind of thing that Scott Snyder did, and it's yet another attempt to put the DC continuity through the ringer and just see what happens.
Dare I say Justice League Forever? Because that's what it's very much an Avengers Forever feel to it.
That's not a bad way to put it, and it's about as consequential in the long run, I think, because it kind of lost the it was kind of the Betamax to Dark Knight's Metals VHS. It wasn't the one that ended up having its view of altered continuity put into practice, but DC decided to publish it anyway because the creators still have some name draw, and they figured they could probably sell it. So,
all right, well,
I'll plug it. I'll go ahead, Murd. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just read it as a fun story, if for nothing else. So,
and I'll plug again because we've mentioned this before. I think it was Ian's idea. The next MCU idea should be Avengers Forever.
Yeah, I'm all for it, and it wouldn't surprise me if that's something similar to what we get. Yeah. Although some of the announcements we got, which we'll talk about on our next comic talk, out of this Disney Plus announcement, made me very happy. X-Men 97, baby. That may, oh God, X-Men the Animated Series is back. Yes. Gene.
Remains to be seen if we can really go home again, though.
Yeah, no, that's fair, especially since a bunch of the voice actors unfortunately have passed away. So it will definitely sound and look a bit different, but I'm hoping for the best. On this next page here, page 34, Compendium 2 of Y the Last Man. As stated, the live-action series may very well not be moving forward, but this goes to the final compendium. This is issues 32 through 60. Great way to read a lot of it at once. And
one of the great finite series. Highest recommendation.
Absolutely the case, yep.
And one of the most gut-wrenchingly emotional finales I've ever read in a comic book series.
Agreed. That's page 34. Pia Guerra and Brian K. Vaughan.
The Fourth World.
Page 35. The Fourth World.
Let's just say it in a hushed tone.
It's a box set too, so you're getting a lot in one here.
I mean, come on. I went to movies and I actually saw on screen The Celestials.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. We'll probably wind up discussing Eternals on our next comic talk, just because I want to get as in depth on it as I can.
Oh yeah,
and I need to see the movie at least once.
There you go.
And indeed, and honestly, you should, Murd. I certainly hope that you appreciate what you see. I think you will.
Well, just need to get out of this freaking barn. And into a movie theater sometime.
I hear that. Issue 6 of 6, by the way, of Batman 89, number 6 here, concludes that miniseries as well. And whether or not we're going to get more remains to be seen. My vote is probably on yes, because I think this has been doing very well for DC.
Good.
So Batman 89, number 6 here, and yeah, we'll see how it looks collected as well. The way they list these listings doesn't even make any sense, because like they went into the trades and now they're back into singles. So I don't know what the hell's going on here.
Oh, these are relisted singles, it says here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, still though. Justice League Infinity number 7. J.M. DeMatteis and James Tucker give us issue 7 of the entity released from the Mirrored Room, has accompanied its goal and is erasing the multiverse and all of its existence once and for all. Yeah, okay, you got me. It's Justice League, and there's multiverse, and it's the animated series, and yeah, come on, it's bound.
And it's J.M. DeMatteis, for Pete's sake.
Exactly. Yep. That's on page 38. We will discuss Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, as well as the eighth issue hits, and it's all collected.
Yep, exactly.
All right, and I think that's about it for DC, because there's no more catalog. So let's move on to previews then. Here we are, over to IDW. Oh, hey, it's that Usagi guy. He's back.
Great cover. Oh,
That's a Peterson cover.
Yep.
Indeed. Yep. Stan Sakai presenting an all-new color. The next series of classic Usagi reprints focuses on a series of important short stories from the early days of the Ronin Rabbit's adventures. Shalom, everybody. It's almost Hanukkah. In this first issue, Frost and Fire, Usagi is tasked with retrieving a slain samurai's swords. If he can solve an impossible moral quandary first.
I love you take us detours on the Borscht Belt to Kellerman's. Fantastic.
Try the veal. It's delicious. Page 118. Eisner Award winner and Ringo Award winner, Usagi Yojimbo. Still a few more Star Wars stories to tell before the IDW Star Wars selections cease.
Mm-hmm. And they're getting their sillies out while they can. Because they're offering us the Star Wars The High Republic Adventures Galactic Bake Off Special.
Oh, man. I am so happy that this exists. I don't know why it exists, but I'm so happy that it exists. It exists so Vita Ayala can tell it. That's why. And Daniel Jose Older as well. Beautiful. Page 120 for that one. Now, what say we about page 121? 25th anniversary edition of Voice of the Fire by the one and only Alan Moore.
Well, it's a beautiful cover.
It is.
And I'm positive that I have a copy of an earlier edition of this novel someplace, which I, of course, has not read. So I don't need to buy this edition, but again, it's it's a beautiful package.
Oh yeah, astonishing first prose novel from Alan Moore, all about the precursor to Jerusalem, and a story full of lust, madness, and ecstasy, which is how you can describe half of Alan Moore's works. Voice of the Fire, page 121. And we get season 10, volume 3 collected of
that series is completed, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep, My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic has indeed concluded, right. And this is volume 3 of season 10 here with issues 98 through 102, page 124. This does indeed include the finale.
Yes, this takes us right up to the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's an impressive run, 102 issues.
Absolutely.
A lot more mileage than IDW ever thought they'd get out of the property when they launched it.
Oh, definitely the case. All right. Of course.
Man, look at that cover.
Man. Page 129, Star Trek: The Mirror War, number 3 of 8.
Yep.
J.K. Woodward yet again knocking it out of the park with that cover.
I'll talk about the first few issues of that in our next comic talk as well.
Excellent. Cannot wait to hear more. Page 129 for that one. Then on
look at that cover.
131.
Oof. God, man.
Yet another J.K. Woodward classic there, but Star Trek Classics: The Mirror Universe Saga. Mike W. Barr on writing. Tom
Sutton. Wow.
Yep.
Ooh, yes, another creator who is no longer with us.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Originally published by DC Comics in Star Trek issues 9 through 15 from 1984.
Tom Sutton was a great artist.
85. Yep. Fan favorite Mirror Universe story for the first time in almost 30 years.
I may have to grab that too.
Absolutely. I like that they're doing best of Optimus Prime the same month they're doing best of Picard. Like, let's get the two big heroes out there in one way or the other. All right, over to Marvel.
Yeah,
sure enough.
Okay. We got that Wolverine going on. X Lives of Wolverine, number 1, begins here On page 2, it begins here. It does. Benjamin Percy, writer. Joshua Cassara on artwork, and cover by Adam Kubert. The biggest Wolverine story of all time begins here. Maybe this should be called Wolverine Forever. Logan James Howlett, Weapon X, the mutant best known as Wolverine, has lived many lives under many identities and in many places, but never before has the fate of his future been so entwined with the past. Wolverine teaming up with Wolverine, and Wolverine to try to solve something happening to Wolverine.
First base, Wolverine. Second base, Wolverine. Catcher, Wolverine.
There was an issue of X-Men Unlimited that was similar to this in certain ways, but it was Katie Pryde was being attacked by like every single version of Wolverine possible, and that was an excellent issue of X-Men Unlimited. 5-issue mini here, and I mean it's got cool visuals. I'll give you that.
Oh yeah,
definitely. Yep.
But wait, there's more.
Oh great!
On the very next page, we have another 5-issue miniseries called X Deaths of Wolverine.
I've retired from these types of stories.
Also written by Benjamin Percy, art by Federico Vincentini, and cover also by Adam Kubert. And your guess is as good as mine as far as to what this is going to be doing. That the Lives of Wolverine story is not. I'm guessing the two stories are complementary in some way, but
yeah.
I'm with you, Chris. I too have retired from. I mean, it just seems to me like it would have made a better issue of X-Men Unlimited than it would like a 10-issue extravaganza.
Well, what I'll say is, oh hey, House of X and Powers of 10 did really well, so maybe we can just go ahead and do that with Wolverine and just get 2 miniseries out there that intertwine. And maybe Benjamin Percy will give us that. I mean, for all we know, it'll actually be life shattering and world changing for Wolverine. But I'll read it in the app. I'll read it in Unlimited. I don't see myself running out.
Look forward to your field report, my friend.
Indeed, there will be revelations about Wolverine told inside. Revelations. Oh, and Classified for that matter. Let's see who Classified turns out to be. Wonder if it's going to be a redhead.
This is an area where I'm woefully apt because I've loved Daredevil my whole life.
Yep.
And I read the first trade of the Zdarsky run, loved it.
Yep.
But I just have to get back to it because I have such enthusiasm and admiration for him as a writer, and this is another area I'm woefully incomplete right now. Is his run on Daredevil? Well,
if I remember correctly, when we did review it, you said you enjoyed it, but also it reminded you too much of of other stories of
it
Daredevil.
Did, but I not enough that I wouldn't want to keep trying.
Sure,
going to the second volume because he's such a superb writer.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm interested to see. I mean, thank you for reminding me because you're right. I did make that criticism. But I just want to see where he takes it because the first volume at least intrigued me. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's on my long list of things to catch up on as well. But this Devil's Reign story is supposed to be the capper on his Daredevil.
Okay. Whether
or not he then returns to it afterwards, we shall see. But,
well, I so love that character, and I haven't read any Daredevil in a while, so I gotta get back to that.
Yep. There's also Devil's Reign Superior 4 by Zach Thompson. The Fantastic Four are no more. Long live the Superior 4. Oh man, this is pretty cool. Otto Octavius is required a taste for the infinite. Empowered by Wilson Fisk, Doc Ock faces a tantalizing, unprecedented opportunity to scour the multiverse, amassing an army of himself.
Otto's supremacy. All right.
Oh man, it's a cool concept. I'll give him that.
I love the cover.
Matter of fact, I'm reaching for a pen right now.
Nice.
So 50 years of Luke Cage. That's right, 1971.
Yeah. Wow. Oh boy. Well, I keep hoping that the rumors of everybody returning from the Netflix series being absolutely.
Oh,
true.
Are those rumors out there now?
There's rumors, at least, that Cox is returning as Daredevil. So
I would hope so. My God, the series was superb. Huh.
Yeah, whether or not we get any of the others from that, or whether they're just going to, quote unquote, reboot that as something new. We'll see. But yeah. Devil's Reign X-Men number 1 of 3. Jerry Duggan writing a
Phil Noto, great artist.
Oh, terrific. All about Emma Frost with also with Elektra involved. So yeah, seeing the two of them interact is going to be interesting. Page 9.
Page 10 gives us another supervillain team-up concept, Devil's Reign Villains for Hire, number 1 of 3.
Oh, yeah.
Wilson Fisk's got his very own Thunderbolts squad out there on the streets. Appears to consist of Rhino, the current female Electro, Taskmaster, and Carnage. Or maybe, well, not necessarily Carnage, maybe one of the other symbiote-empowered characters. But anyway.
Could be.
Yep, I'm buying it.
I didn't even know there was a female Electro.
Yep, I was barely aware of it myself. I think she came about during the Spencer run on Amazing.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. I still wish the female Doc Ock had gotten more play.
Carolyn Trainer.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of her.
Yeah, there's currently a children's Spider-Man cartoon, like Spidey and His Amazing Friends or something like that. It's on Disney Junior. It's Peter Parker, Gwen Stacy, and Miles Morales, or child-sized versions of themselves having little adventures together. And the version of Doc Ock on that show appears to be more or less Carolyn Trainer. It's
Nice.
definitely a female Dr. Octopus.
Okay. Well, I mean, they did bring that concept back in Spider-Verse as well.
Yep.
That was great. Look at this. Look at this cover. Man, oh man. Daredevil Woman Without Fear, number 1 of 3. Zdarsky writing with excellent Chris Bacalo cover. Bacalo.
Yep.
Page 11. Love it. He's definitely going full Frank Miller with this cover.
Yeah, it's a beautiful cover.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, there's
Here
for
we
your
are,
90s.
baby. Yes.
Look who's writing it though. That's damn.
Okay, JMD Mateus, David Baldion on artwork. I mean, come on. With an excellent cover by Steve Scroce. Ben Reilly's Spider-Man number 1 of 5. Because
this takes place during his original time as that character, right?
Are
these retro stories?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It does take place in the past. It's when Ben Reilly had, the dyed blonde hair.
Right,
and he worked at the coffee shop, and he was wearing this costume as the current Spider. It's during the sensational Spider-Man days.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And this creative team is one of my favorite writers of the past and one of my favorite artists of the present, is making me want to read stories of Ben Reilly as Spider-Man more than I ever wanted to when he actually was Spider-Man.
Well, I'll tell you, I read the first issue of Beyond, and I need to read more Beyond. It actually has me super excited to read Spider-Man for the first time in a while.
Good.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, to throw the premise out there, and oh my God, look at right here, this next cover. Oh, so good.
There it is.
Dan Jurgens, baby.
Yep. Who designed that costume?
You got it. Yep. But the whole premise behind the Beyond Spider-Man run is basically the Beyond Corporation purchased the rights to the Spider-Man name, and that's how Ben is now Spider-Man, because he's working for the Beyond Corp, and Peter's left in the lurch because he literally cannot be Spider-Man thanks to trademarks that were filed back when Doc Ock was Superior. Speaking of Doc Ock, here he is on an excellent cover for Amazing Spider-Man number 85. Corey Ziegler and Paco Medina. It's on page 16. And then another excellent cover.
That is a great cover. Wow.
Ooh, man, Michael Dowling's been knocking it out of the park.
Both those covers are by Art Adams. So
they are both Art Adams. I'm sorry.
Yep, no surprise there.
There we are. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Yep. It does make a lot of sense, actually, now that you mention it. Page 17 for that other one there.
Oh, don't mute the dog, Murd. It's okay.
It just brings us back to old school comic geek speak.
Yep. Okay, professionalism out the window it is.
Exactly. Oh, man. Mary Jane and Black Cat Beyond, page 19.
Yeah, they'll get along.
Oh, absolutely. Jed McKay on writing, CF Villa on artwork. Team up that I was not expecting to see.
Yep, I've enjoyed everything else Jed McKay has done on his Black Cat series, so I'll definitely get this one shot as well.
Yep. And in the immortal words of Jamie D, in on page 20, She-Hulk by Rainbow Rowell, who wrote the absolutely fantastic Runaways run that recently concluded.
Yeah, you've always praised that.
Oh, if anyone's going to write She-Hulk, Rainbow deserves it. And I cannot wait to see what we're going to get out of this.
I remember, Ian, it was bye, bye, bye.
I know.
It was. And I may do that too.
Yeah.
And artwork is by Roger Antonio, who's one of the artists who worked with the Benson sisters on their run on Batgirl and the Birds of Prey.
Indeed. Bye, 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 indeed.
Yep, and we've got She-Hulk back to her familiar incarnation, not the bulkier up physique that she's had lately in the comics, which is I think is a positive development.
It's a welcome return. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
They
only really did that when they needed a Hulk fill-in anyway.
And
then talk about returns.
All right.
Page 22, Maestro World War M, number 1 of 5. Peter David on writing and Jermaine Peralta and Pasquale Ferry on artwork. Learn more about the Maestro's world and the final chapter of Peter David's Maestro trilogy begins here.
Oh,
May I say a few words then?
Oh, yes.
What we encounter on page...
wow.
Dang it, Marvel, number the pages. 24 and 25.
Yes.
Silver Surfer Rebirth. It's a 5-issue miniseries. Ron Mars is writing it. Ron Lim is drawing it.
Welcome
it's a
back.
return to a time classic, 90 terrific creative team who brought the Silver Surfer to new heights back in the early 90s. It also involves Captain Marvel being returned from the dead, not for the first time either, by someone who's gotten their sticky little hands on the reality gem. Sold right there, Marvel. I would have bought this miniseries just for the fact that you're remembering that the things are called gems and not frickin' stones. The creative team and the characters involved. I mean, it's
the wrath.
This is my bye right here. It's irresistible.
And is and from the artwork too, is that Genus in the artwork on that first image there? Because I'm pretty sure that looks like Genus rather than Captain Marvel. So
which image are we looking at here?
The interior artwork from issue 1 on the right hand side there. That very first image.
Yeah, that is definitely Genisville. Yeah, who after all was a creation of this same creative team, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, indeed.
Ian, when we had Ron Mars on the show, did he tease this or not? I don't remember.
No, he did.
He probably
not.
Wasn't allowed to. Okay.
Yeah. He I mean, we did talk his Silver Surfer and even talk Genis, but no, he didn't bring this up.
Wonderful.
Yep. Then a Sabretooth miniseries of all things on the next
Oh God,
page.
who cares? God,
I haven't had one of these in a few years.
Yeah, why not?
It looks like it does tie into the whole Krakoa thing.
Okay.
All
right.
Well, that's something.
Yeah, Victor
Ryan
Laval.
Stegman cover. Cover. That's something. Though.
And Leonard Kirk on the main artwork.
It's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, but
indeed.
I think I just OD'd on him in the 90s.
Oh no, that's fair. That's fair. I just got up to in my Jay and Miles Explain the X-Men trek. I'm now almost exactly 100 episodes behind them, and they are now up to when Sabretooth made his home in the X-Mansion.
Right, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, with the whole like muzzle on his face and what have you.
That show must be amazing. The analysis they must be doing.
They're doing an excellent job,
and all the plot lines they have to disentangle.
Oh yeah, and funny enough, it's still happening. Where like I'm listening to an episode and then I see an announcement and they're announcing the return of a character that they literally just talked about from like in the 90s. Like very recently they just announced something we'll be talking about in the next previews. A team of X-Men, I think Secret X-Men it's called, and one of them has a member of the Mutant Liberation Front.
God, the MLF.
Yeah, the one the almost all yellow one with like the yellow helmet.
I dimly recall that. Yeah,
that's not Ricochet, is it? I'm trying to remember
I thought Ricochet was a Spider-Man.
He was one
Yeah.
of the slingers. Yeah.
Yeah. It's something along those lines, though.
It's okay, Ian.
Yeah, but either way, they just talked about her leaving the MLF, and now she's a member of this secret X-Men team, along with a bunch of the old former New Mutants. So should be interesting to see them back in one way or the other. All right, moving on to something that is years in
Look
the
at that team
and years in the making, because this was originally brought up in Dan Slott's She-Hulk run.
Oh, such a great run. Oh,
it was an image that was randomly shown as like sort of like a future of that could happen involving She-Hulk. And here we are with the Reckoning War that he wanted to tell for years and years and years. Dan Slott, Carlos Pacheco, Fantastic Four, Reckoning War Alpha #1. 15 years in the making here on page 30. And then on page 31 is Fantastic Four #40 with Dan Slott and Rachel Stott.
Ian, could you go back to the previous page, please, just for a moment?
Sure.
I just wanted to. Oh, so it's the time before the Kree, Skrull, or Shi'ar empires.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. Before the emergence of Galactus,
Interesting.
before the birth of Asgard, there was the first war, the greatest war to ever rage across the multiverse. Today, it is reignited. This is the day of reckoning.
All right.
Yep. In indeed. And Murd, you just got to that, right?
Yeah, I just read the She-Hulk number. Well, I don't know what the issue number was in the then current numbering, but it was the 100th issue of She-Hulk overall, I think. Big giant size thing where She-Hulk was put on trial by the TVA, another timely name there, for having disregarded certain restrictions that had been placed on her during a trial of a sensitive nature in which she served as counsel. And then they put her on trial with her being erased from the timeline at stake. And it was revealed that one of the things that could possibly have been a part of her future was this thing called the Reckoning War, and in which huge cosmic brouhaha went down, and it was largely her fault. And Dan Slott wrote that story, and Dan Slott is writing this story.
Indeed.
We'll just see just how big he can make it.
And we've mentioned many times, for those who aren't familiar, the She-Hulk series Dan Slott is the writer of.
Terrific.
Mandatory. It is. If you love Marvel history, if you love humor in Marvel, if you love Howard the Duck,
yep,
you must read this series.
As is his Thing series, for that matter, because he was terrific.
Which I've not read that one yet.
Actually. Oh, that's excellent. I looked it up, by the way, because it was going to kill me. Tempo was who I was thinking of.
All right.
Who's now a actual X-Man from the used to be a Mutant Liberation.
Don't die for Tempo. We need Levinstein.
Oh, I know. Speaking of the Thing, issue 3 of 6, Walter Mosley and Tom Riley's miniseries here. More Thing action. Page 34. Doesn't have a Thing ring, though. Doesn't do his thing. Oh my God! Look at this! Look at this Alex Ross cover. Every month, these Captain America, Iron Man covers are just beautiful, and that's the case here as well on page 35.
Wow.
T'Challa faces off against the X-Men of Mars on page 36. Those are words that were just spoken.
I added, actually, because I missed the last previews, but I was waiting for it. They finally have collected Ta-Nehisi Coates' entire run, including the epic Black Panther and space story, into an omnibus. So I ordered the whole thing. I was waiting for that.
Nice. Look at this excellent Alex Ross cover here as well.
Great cover.
Oh, majestic looking storm on it.
When does the Hawkeye television series start?
Very soon.
Right around Christmas.
It does. Terrific. Okay.
Yeah, because it's set at Christmas time.
Yeah.
All right.
In fact, it may even be Thanksgiving week, if I remember correctly, that it premieres. So we're pretty close to it. I
have to fit that in between watching the new version of Let It Be.
Oh my God! Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that too. This Donny Cates run looks like it's going to be interesting. Of Cates and Otley Hulk action on page 30.
I'm still waiting for my last Immortal Hulk trade to finish that up.
Yep, We're getting there. And here we are with X-Men Legends, the Simonsons.
Oh, that is 80s for you. Woo.
Oh, yeah, baby. Just in time to celebrate 40 years of the original New Mutants.
Wow.
Catch up with some old friends like Sunspot, Cannonball, Wolfsbane, Boom Boom, Danny Moonstar,
Boom
Richter,
Boom.
and more. As Caliban leads Pestilence and War, the remaining horsemen of Apocalypse, in a hunt for new blood. Witness this never-before-seen link between the New Mutants and Apocalypse in this all-new tale penned by...
Oh, look at that team.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Page 42. What else we got, gents?
Life story is tremendous.
Yep.
I've been praising this every month. I mean,
yeah,
we'll talk more when it's finished, but just as good as Spider-Man life story.
Yeah, I went long into the 90s issue on our last comic talk. And
excellent.
Yeah, Mark Russell and Sean Isaacs get to conclude it here with issue 6, and then there will be a beautiful trade on my shelf.
Here.
On page 46.
He's not dead. Move on.
No. Doctor Strange is totally dying, okay? On page 48, we get an Elsa Bloodstone story written by Teenie Howard. So, all right, even if he's not dying, at least we get some good some
Bloodstone is always fun.
Exactly. And some terrific covers to go along with it. The Death of Doctor Strange here. Carrie Andrews. Oof.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Love it. Page 49 for that one.
Murd, I read the first couple issues of Defenders. Love them. Under recommendation.
Yep.
Just immensely fun.
Great team and great rollicking fun story through the cosmic prehistory of the Marvel multiverse.
Ooh, look at that Allred variant of this 5th issue here. Beautiful.
That reminds me of of course, Allred's masterful Silver Surfer series with Slott, which is a classic.
Mm-hmm. See the pink-haired lady with the glowing fist in the lower right there? Yep. That's Galactus's mom.
That's right.
The title of this issue is Galactus's mom has got it going on.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm reading this. Page 50, Defenders 5 of 5.
You will not regret it, Ian.
Nope.
I'm sure I will not. What is going on here in the Avengers? Jason Aaron, every single issue, things get weirder. Page 51. Like, what am I even looking at here?
Is that a baby Thanos?
It certainly looks that way.
It's like a ventriloquist dummy of Thanos.
Yeah.
And is that Albert? Because I'm trying to think of whether that's Wolverine or whether that's Albert.
No, that could, like the robotic Wolverine. That's a possibility.
God, I forgot about that character. Holy mackerel.
Albert and LCD.
That's right.
Yep.
God.
Mm-hmm.
God, the X-Men got so weird.
Oh, yeah. The Black Skull and Ghost Goblin invade New York to slaughter Deathlocks and anyone who gets in the way, including Captain America and Captain Marvel. But the bad guys didn't plan on having to face the world's most dangerous young Avenger. Believe us, no one's ever seen anything like the Star Brand Unleashed. And I guess we haven't. Page 51.
Unless you were reading New Universe comics in the late 80s.
Which I was.
All right, Spider-Woman number 19 on the very next page, 52. 52!
Say it loud, say it proud.
It's Spider-Woman versus Spider-Woman. And they say, but how? And I immediately think of Secret Invasion. So, I mean,
I think of Maximum Clonage.
Oh,
God.
Yes. Speaking of which, hey, look, Miles' clone is still hanging around. Miles Morales, Spider-Man number 34. So there you go. On page 53.
Oh, and his clone is named Shift, apparently.
Mm-hmm. You got it. What say we on the Marvels number 8?
I'm getting the series monthly. I haven't really read much of it beyond number 1. Number 1 was excellent, but
Yep. Certainly looks pretty. And then page 55.
See, there's a lot of the other stuff we mentioned in this catalog. Then there's this book. This is next level Iron Man, as I've mentioned every month. Anyone who loves the character or either from the comic and or the movies, you need to read this series.
Oh yeah.
It is far and away one of the best books Marvel's producing right now.
Yep. And if you enjoyed Cosmic Spider-Man at the end of the 80s, get ready for Cosmic Iron Man.
Yep. And if you loved deep dives into like different Marvel supporting characters, I mean, Cantwell's just having a blast with this book. And again, Korvac. So it's superb on every level. And again, he has such a great handle on the character of Tony Stark, and he's trying to kind of advance the character a bit, especially through his new relationship with Patsy Walker, which is really interesting and really well done. So Hellcat, for those who don't know what I mean, but
indeed. Well, how about that? Also, I mean, even though this Alex Ross cover is great, that homage cover by Pete.
Oh, great, Pete Woods, excellent. This is a series I'm hearing great things about that I've not read.
Yeah, I've loved what I've read so far. And
the cover's fantastic.
Yeah, it deserved the Eisner. It definitely did. Black Widow.
Oh, I didn't realize it won an Eisner. Okay, so I doubly have to read it now.
Yeah. Yep. Black Widow number 14 on page 56. Shang-Chi number 8 on page 58. The story of the true origin of Shang-Chi's family concludes.
Oh, what a team.
Oh, yeah.
Gillen Ribic. Wow.
Eternals number 9 here. Yeah.
And like Ian said, we'll discuss the movie at length in our next comic talk.
Definitely. Yeah. Issue 5 of that Kazar series comes out on page 62. So if you're waiting for that to be collected, it will soon be collected.
When I was a kid, I would always butcher and say Kazar.
Kazar. Now we mentioned King Conan number 1 last month, and Chris, I don't know.
Jason Aaron writing Conan is never a bad thing.
Oh yeah.
So
and Mahmood on the artwork as well.
Looks like a little Thulsa Doom action there.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move it over to Star Wars. Charles Soule, The High Republic, Eye of the Storm. On
superb writer.
Yep. And Guillermo Sana on the artwork.
Boba Fett series is before Christmas, right?
Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah.
Only
a little bit before it, though.
Yeah. Oh, look! Go back just one. Look, please, if you could. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
This series, by the way, I've mentioned before. Since they relaunched the Star Wars flag title through Marvel, pretty much every issue has been excellent. Some sublime, like it was first was Jason Aaron, then it was Gillen, now it's Soule. But every creator's arc has just been superb. I can't really fault much of what Marvel's done with the Star Wars property of the stuff I've read since they got it back.
This is issue 21 of that ongoing Star Wars series on page 73. Here we are with a very interesting looking trade paperback on page 76. Marvel June 1962 Omnibus. Written by Stan DeMann, penciled by Kirby, Ditko, Goldberg, Hartley, Heck.
It's a roll call of glory.
Beautiful. Keller, Gene Colan, Nick Ayers. Where were you in June of 1962? They just go ahead and release every comic that came out that month.
Like the American Graffiti tagline, where were you in 62?
Just watched that for the first time a couple weeks
ago.
ago.
Really? It's one of my favorite movies. What'd you think of it?
I loved it. It was terrific.
Yeah, it's... We'll talk about it at length another time because I think it's such an important film.
I can join that discussion because thanks to Chris, I've seen it too. In fact, I think I now own.
I gave you the DVD.
Blu-ray of it. Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
That variant cover by that Ditko cover, it was supposed to be the original cover to Amazing Fantasy 15 that Stan Lee rejected.
Oh yes.
And then he had Kirby do. He wanted a more dynamic cover as he saw it. But that's the original cover.
Wow. And the Wakanda World of Black Panther Omnibus on page 77.
So a lot of the like peripheral's the wrong word, but a lot of like the supporting stories that further flesh out the world of Wakanda.
I have all of these on Comixology, so I can probably get to that whenever. Because when Chadwick Boseman unfortunately passed away, they had that short window where pretty much everything Black Panther was available for free, and I went ahead and grabbed that.
And Shane would approve because he'd right now be saying 1,300 pages. Just you can't read it; it's too heavy.
I sympathize,
Yep.
especially when it's a hardcover. It's like pressing
heavy,
down on the flesh of your thighs.
Look at that variant cover for the Luke Cage.
Oh, yep.
By Phil Noto. That is tremendous.
That is pretty good. Yep.
God, I love blaxploitation Luke Cage.
Page 78. That gives us Heroes for Hire 1 through 16, Power Man 17 through 47, and Annual number 1.
So those who have not, Murd and I did a spotlight on Luke Cage several years ago as part of our Marvel Triple Action Spotlight. Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Shang-Chi. If you want to go pure Bronze Age with us in OD. But I love that early 70s Luke Cage. It is just immensely fun. And some of the villains, was Mr. Fish one of his villains?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And no one laughs at him.
So you get like this great hybrid of blaxploitation vibe with some of the goofiest villains you can imagine. It's great.
That would be episode 1575 of Comic Geek Speak, cover date of October 5th, 2015.
I just got chills. And if I remember correctly, I think there was a cricket in the studio when we recorded that episode too.
Yep. Power Man, Iron Fist, and Shang-Chi all in one package.
Yeah, if you want to get some real Bronze Age, that's the episode to listen to. The Burn Thing.
Indeed. Page 79. Also, Mike Carlin involved in there. Bob Harris, Jim Shooter, Englehart. Good stuff.
Love Englehart.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving forward here. The Phoenix Omnibus by Claremont and Joe Duffy. This collects everything, and I'm glad it does.
Yeah, of the original Phoenix, including the Bizarre Adventure stories, the black and white magazine story as well.
Yep, as well as the What If.
What If, yeah. This is actually, you can get a lot of this stuff in other versions, but it is a complete collection essentially. And it even had the Untold Story in there as well, with the alternate ending that was not approved.
Yep.
So
and the classic X-Men stuff for that matter.
Yeah. Which is actually, those are great stories. That's some of the John Bolton stuff, which is breathtaking, where Chris Claremont kind of tells stories about Jean as the Phoenix before she's corrupted, interacting with the X-Men, especially Wolverine. All great stuff. This is actually a great collection. But again, a lot of this, I'm sure it's Dark Phoenix Saga. It's been reprinted a gazillion times, but it's all in one collection, which is cool.
I have a very ancient Dark Phoenix Saga collection sitting on my shelf. That's I think I got it at Walden Books at Kings Plaza when I was maybe
Walden Books,
like 11 or 12, and it's got the old edition of it with like the purple border and like.
Is this the Bill Sienkiewicz cover?
I think it is actually. Yeah,
I have that. That's one of the earliest trades I ever got that I think Marvel did, where they actually reprinted a story. I think
that may have been the third trade I ever bought, because I think the first one I ever bought was the Reign of Superman.
There you go. So another great collection. This reprints all of Black Panther's early stuff, and especially the all-important Don McGregor, Billy Graham jungle action stories, which are some of we've talked many times about how important a writer McGregor is, and when it comes to Black Panther, a lot of the foundation of the character is laid in the jungle action stories that Christopher Priest later runs with in his, classic run. So, you get all the great Silver Age stuff, but the jungle action stuff, which has been reprinted in other forms as well. If you want to really get a real handle on the character of Black Panther, you got to read those jungle action stories, and they're really advanced for the time they came out. The writing, it's McGregor. He really puts so much thought into the characters, and he really takes some risks. It's great stuff.
Yep. And these have been collected more recently.
Oh yeah.
There was an Epic collection as well, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's correct. Yep.
So plenty of ways to get it, but this is definitely one of them. Inferno, all in one package here. Hickman's Inferno. This is the direct market only cover that they show us of that Mark Brooks made, and whew, it's stunning. But this is hardcover, and it's going to collect Inferno 1 through 4.
And issues 1 and 2. I have not read them yet.
Yeah, that's 4 issues of a comic book for $40.
That's a lot. I got the floppies.
And we're moving on. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
It's 1982. I walk into the Watchung Flea Market, Central New Jersey, now defunct. I think it's a BJ's wholesale place now. And there in the drawing board, which is a comic shop in there, I see this cover, and my world is rocked and changed as a comic book reader. I've talked about this at length in our Daredevil Spotlight from some years back. In fact, I just redid my office after the flood, and I put up my print of this cover that I have framed that Miller and Klaus Janson signed. It was like a limited edition print they did. One of the most important comic stories in the 1980s, in my opinion.
Nice.
So that's not all of Miller's Daredevil run, but it's a good chunk of it, looks like, in there.
Find that on page 85.
Indeed.
Oh, God.
And then right underneath it on page 86, Brubaker and Lark's Daredevil.
Again, think of a character who's had so many great runs in its history.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't talked about, Mark Waid's run, Daredevil.
Yeah.
That's why the show was so good, because they had such great source material to work from. So,
and I'll tell you, this Brubaker run had very large shoes to fill, because this was directly after Bendis left the book.
Yep.
And I remember not loving it for that reason. I and trust me, I love Ed Brubaker, but it didn't hit on every single cylinder for me when I read it, and I felt like it was like almost trying too much to be Bendis's Daredevil at times and not reaching that. But it's still stunning to look at. And he does tell a good story. It's just there was a lot of Daredevil in jail stuff, and like we had kind of already been there, if that makes sense.
You may want to try it again or read it when if time ever permits. Like read the whole Bendis run, which I have to reread because I haven't read that since it came out.
Oh yeah.
And I remember breathlessly waiting every month for a new issue, because you're right, the Bendis one was tremendous. But I think this is a very fine successor to it. But we have a period where Daredevil goes from like Bendis to Brubaker. Does Waid come after this?
There may have been someone else in between. I remember Charles Soule had his run.
So I don't get in my timeline mix a little bit, but it just seemed like there was this lengthy period where Daredevil was just one of the books you should be reading every month. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Certainly still the case with
my
Brubaker.
last bit of cherry Coke.
All right. What say we on any other trades to point out?
I think I'm good. You can kind of cruise through here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Magneto's on trial again. Okay.
Page 94. He just loves being on trial. That's just the thing he does. I'm going to have to give this Excalibur run a shot on page 99, because it does look like it encapsulates a lot of the fun and weirdness of previous versions of Excalibur. So Teeny Howard and Marcus Toe here on page 99. It's the 4th volume of their Excalibur run. I think that's about it, actually. Well, you know what? Okay, fine. Darkhawk, Airborne.
Kyle
Higgins on sale February 2022, and the Darkhold as well by Steve Orlando right underneath it on page 106. So if you didn't pick these up, if you're waiting for them to be collected, here they are for you. And a listener did want us to talk about the price increase on the Epic collections.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Yep. So this is Excalibur Epic Collection, The Battle for Britain, Volume 8. It's the Arcudi, Ben Robb, Larry Hama stuff. So not exactly the best run of Excalibur. No.
A lot of great artists who worked on it.
Oh, certainly. Yeah. Pete Woods, Brian Hitch, Salvador.
So it's $45. It's color.
Yeah.
But that's a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I've always liked the Epic collections because you get great runs. Well, sometimes they're great, but in color. So if you want to tap in a certain history, like for example, like Roger Stern's Doctor Strange stuff was tremendous.
Mhm.
You got Claremont in there, McGregor, Ralph Macchio, Colin, Tom Sutton, Marshall Ross. I mean, those are all great artists who all did wonderful versions of Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And so like that's a book that if you have money to burn, I'll put that very strong caveat in it. If you want to learn more about great Doctor Strange, this is a great book to pick up, but it is expensive.
I mean, it's 504 pages for $45, so it's not
well,
like.
That's, I mean, and again, that's a good point to make, Ian. I forgot about that. Plus, you are getting the discount if you're ordering it
Sure.
through DCB service. But that, like, I would put my stamp of approval on this particular trade right here.
Yeah, this was Chemi Jacob or Chemi Jacob who pointed it out in the Comic Geek Speaks supergroup.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Arena of Death.
The
Murd
run.
And the Bloodstone Hunt below. The Bloodstone Hunt. That was kind of fun. Grunwald.
109 and 110 there.
Both the issues in both those trades in single issues, I think.
Wait, Ian, could you go back one of that? Because I have to say
Certainly.
something. The Wrath of Odin. All right,
yeah.
So it's legally Thor. I mean, again, this has been reprinted in a gazillion different formats, but you're getting 500 pages, Thor 131 to 153. So you're really getting into some of the cosmic stuff like High Evolutionary, which Murd loves, Ego of the Living Planet. This one, I think this is some of Kirby's greatest work in all of his Marvel stuff. That like the later Cosmic Thor. It's just it's mind blowing.
And then on page 111, if you don't have access to Marvel Unlimited and you want some Star Wars Legends action, then here we are with some of that. It's from 2013, Star Wars Legacy 1 through 18, and material from Star Wars Tales number 19 and Star Wars Visionaries on page 111. Penciled by the amazing Gabriel Hardman. Partially written by him, too.
So I have to revisit Moon Knight because one of my favorite actors is going to be playing Moon Knight. So, God, I'm so excited by that casting.
Oh, yeah.
Oscar Isaac is Moon Knight, but
it's terrific.
Yeah.
And they have the Jeff Lemire Moon Knight on page 113 that collects all 14 issues of the 2016 Moon Knight run.
God, there's a lot of trades this month.
There really are, yeah. But I think that's just about covers it because that's the end of the book. And here we are back over to preview.
I'm going to shout out the very last thing.
Okay.
Take us right back to the finish line here. Page 117, it is a trade of the first year's worth of Silver Age Daredevil stories.
Wood, man.
Many of which I have not yet read. But it's in a slightly different format. The Mighty Marvel Masterworks, it's a digest size. It's 240
I missed that,
pages.
Murd. Well done.
It's 6 inches by 9 inches at a very affordable $15.99. And so these are the comics that introduce the world to characters like, Daredevil and his whole supporting cast, Foggy and Karen Page and so forth, but also villains like Zebediah Kilgrave, the Owl, and, of course, Stiltman. Shown
and
here on
it features Daredevil's classic Silver Age clash with the Submariner, which is one of the great issues of the period. The Wally Wood art is stunning.
Yep.
On the issues he works on.
Mm-hmm. And that's Michael Cho that drew that cover there.
Yep.
Good call out, Murd.
Great call.
Take that opportunity. Thank you.
Excellent. All right, now we get back over to the main portion of the book here. And Hell Sonia, number 1 on page 139. Christopher Hastings, Hell Sonia. All right, I just really wanted to say Hell Sonia. We're moving on.
I want to see you unleashed on an open mic night somewhere. Just to do like
I don't want to see that. I think that would be disastrous, to be entirely honest.
We can just go to a comedy club and you can just let it rip.
143. Let's touch on that a little bit since this was actually spotlighted on the very cover of this.
I know nothing about this character. I mean, I've heard of her, but that's it.
It's a cruel Egyptian queen. This is Panther number 1. Writer Tom Snegoski and Janine Akison, and artist Igor Lima. A cruel Egyptian queen, eternally cursed to transform into a savage beast. For millennia, Panther has endured her punishment for angering a powerful goddess, hiding herself away from the world and the ugliness of her humanity. But now something, is killing the gods. And so it falls upon Pantha to save the Pantheon. Featured in her own series for the first time in a decade, Pantha returns. And yeah, I am not at all familiar with this character, but that sounds like an excellent premise.
She's been around for a while.
Oh yeah, I've heard of the characters. I've never read any stories by her.
At the end of the 60s. She's nearly as old as Vampirella.
Gotcha. That's on 143, and then you get to see a whole bunch of variant covers on 144 and 145, plus some interior artwork on the following pages. We mentioned Priest's return to Vampirella here with Vampirella Dracula Unholy.
And I read first trade he did for Vampirella, which I love. I talked about on the show way back when. I got to get the rest of them because, again, like anything, when he really dives into a character, he just finds all these layers you didn't think about.
Yep. Page 149 for that one. And the issue 2 cover here in particular, Dracula's looking a little bit like Namor on 150.
Or David Boreanaz.
Or David Boreanaz, yeah. A little
Speaking
bit
of David Boreanaz.
What about him?
Well, when you get to the Boom section, I'm very excited.
Yeah, I know exactly why, too.
Okay. Well, you know what? Does anybody else have anything from Dynamite? Because if not,
I'm good.
Straight to Boom. In that case, let's head to Boom. There's a lot of Dynamite to get through. Hurry up and get to Boom. Here we are.
I'm glad they're doing well.
Here we are.
It's Cantwell doing Angel.
Wowzers.
Okay. We'll have to step back.
I mean, I've always loved the Buffy verse. I haven't read any of the books lately, but if Christopher Cantwell is writing it, I'm going to check it out.
Yep. 8-issue miniseries on page 186. And I was certainly not expecting this. Everyone's favorite vampire with a soul returns, an Angel for hire. Well, all right, sure, why not? Like you said, it's Cantwell.
Yep.
And the second issue of a series that I'm very much looking forward to on 188, Buffy the Last.
She's like in her 50s in this story, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's very much like Old Man Logan Buffy style. And this is the second to 4 issues of that with Casey Gilly on writing and Joe Jarrow on artwork. All right,
I must ask you to step back to page 182 for a moment.
Oh, but of course, sir.
Yes, with Boom's headliner for the I guess Angel's the headliner, but the first thing to listen in their section here is on page 182. Yes. The return of Jeremy Bastian's Cursed Pirate Girl.
Excellent.
In a new 48-page issue, The Devil's Cave, #1. It's been over 5 years since Jeremy's come out with a new issue of Cursed Pirate Girl with his surreally detailed, fine pencil work and his 18th century cartooning style. But it's the adventures of a young girl trying to find her lost pirate father somewhere in the cursed Omerta Sea. She encounters all kinds of strange Carolean creatures and mysteries along the way. It's unlike anything else that's been published in comics for quite some time. It's very much its own thing. I love it to death, and I'm happy to see that Jeremy Bastian's getting a little more of it into our hot little hands. And it's coming out from Boom, which is currently the owner of the Archaea imprint in January.
Yep, and it's certified cool.
Damn well better be.
Yep. Returns after 5+ years of an absence. Well done. The artwork too on the next couple of pages.
Oh, it's beautiful. God.
Wonderful, wonderful stuff. And I think that's about it from Boom for me. Volume 4 of Once and Future, solicited by Kieran Gillen on page 200. If you're a fan of that, you got the 4th volume out there for you. Onward to the rest of the book.
I don't think I had a lot myself for the rest of the book. I mean, obviously, you guys shout out whatever you got, but I don't think I have much myself this month.
Well, a one shot to start off on page 214. Cerebus in Hell? ? Dave Sim, Cerebus, the 2022 monthly that actually is monthly comics lineup teaser. So go figure on that. And of course, not final cover, because they don't know what the final cover is. So, hey, find out what it is and order it on page 214. Bylines in Blood looks pretty cool on page 220. That's out of Aftershock.
Aftershock usually has some interesting stuff.
They do, yep. And this one is Erica Schultz and Van Jensen, artwork by Aneke. The future. The very concept of truth has died. Politicians invent their own facts, and independent newspapers no longer exist. In this world, private detectives serve as Ronin, searching out the hard truth that people are desperate to keep hidden. That sounds really bleak, but at the same time, pretty cool. It's a prophetic neo-noir thriller with expected twists at every turn.
Sounds a lot like Private Eye.
That was so good.
Yep. Page 220. That one. Bylines in Blood.
Murd, was that your dad?
Yes.
Give him our best.
Doing his Bigfoot impression, just kind of skulking around in the background.
Tim Seeley's Dark Red, Where Roads Lead on page 222. This is a spotlight here. Corin Howell on there. And if it's Tim Seeley and it's vampires, then I'm going to mention it. The hit Vampires in the Heartland series returns for more. Following the events surrounding the defeat of the Order of the Eventide, blue-collar vampire Chip tries to return to his life of quiet rural isolation, but soon he has to ditch his late-night convenience store shift to travel across the country to New Orleans to visit a dying veteran. Tim Seeley and Colin Howell return to their universe here of Dark Red on 222.
Yep, I enjoyed that series, and I'm glad to get a little bit more of this vampire slice of life.
Indeed. Beyond the Breach, Ed Brisson's trade paperback collects the first 5 issues of that on page 229. And how about Fear Book Club here? Young Adult by on 230 by Richard Ashley Hamilton and Marco Matrone.
Great cover.
It's terrific cover. When shy 6th grade shutterbug Whit Garcia starts middle school, he's forced to join a yearbook club with 3 other weirdos who will never be voted most likely to succeed. But after the ghosts of missing students start haunting them, Whit, Hester, Hillary, and Press must solve the supernatural secret behind these spirits, or the yearbook club will be voted most likely to join them. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, cool premise, and as you said, excellent cover there, Chris, on page 230.
What else you got, brothers?
A whole bunch of scrolling and then finding more stuff, I think.
Yeah, I went through the book earlier this afternoon. I didn't, not a lot jumped out at me this month in the rest of the book. But, that's just me. But
yeah, I mean, we have a few that that are call outs from the listeners that is approaching. What page are we on here? 256. There's something out of Behemoth. In fact, here we are. Let's see. What was the item in question? Until My Knuckles Bleed. So here we are. Well, on page 259, as pointed out by a longtime listener of the show, Chris Murren. From the creator of the best-selling graphic novel Polar, now a Netflix hit movie with Mads Mikkelsen, comes a tale of crime and capes in the style of The Boys, Watchmen, and Sin City. The 90s were the most extreme age of the superheroes. The times have changed. Gavin Hart, a.k.a. Damager, now works as a bouncer with a strip club managed by the Russian mob, hangs out sporadically with his ex-Avenge lady, and wrestles with the long-term effects of his cyber implants. But fate always keeps one last cheap shot up its sleeve for a hero. Yeah, this sounds awesome. As a child of the 90s, hey, look, written for me.
And I haven't read Polar yet. And Polar always looked really compelling. I have to read that.
Yeah. Yep, and this is Victor Santos, indeed, of Polar. And every single cover of this has a different style, but each style is fantastic.
Oh, yes. They did their homework.
Oh, yeah. Cover F in particular. That's easily the most 90s. Page 259. All right, scrolling down a bit further here. The White River Monster, number 1 on 266. White River Monster has eluded people for over a century. Manhunts were brought to a fever pitch in Newport, Arkansas, where people descended on the small town determined to prove the existence of the river monster. But it went unfounded. For years, sightings were reported up and down the White River, but no physical evidence ever came forth. Soon the monster faded into obscurity and was dismissed as a legend. Until now. Bum. Page 266.
I wonder if the White River Monster is anything like a Coney Island whitefish.
I love this guy.
Only when you smother it in everything that goes on a hot dog. Why not? Oh man, it's probably swimming around around Nathan's. Now that I think about it,
Super Pets.
Yes. Oh man, Storm, the origin of Aquaman's seahorse. Comet, the origin of Supergirl's horse. Page 274 and 275. It's made for friends.
When I had the shop, these books were already out. I had a whole ton. They did a ton of them. Like every obscure animal you could think of that had some story basis. And I always had fun putting them in the kids section.
Yep. And several that they had to make up for the purpose.
Yeah, exactly. I think Swamp Thing had a super pet, for example.
I love it. Star Wars Yoda One for Me hardcover. That is the best pun and had to be called out on page 276 from Chronicle Books. Tell the person you love that Yoda won for me with this sweet book featuring beloved Star Wars characters and heartfelt, funny sentiment and artwork on the theme of love and friendship.
So these were probably a set of Valentines at one point.
I assume so, yes.
Oh, and look, Katie Cook has got some art in there. I kind of thought that would be the case.
Yeah, that does not surprise me at all. It's within the Katie Cook wheelhouse. All right. Page 282 has the next call out here.
Actually, for me, 279 has the next call out.
In that case, by all means, sir. Oh, yes. You had me at Oz. Please, by all means.
Yes, as this kudos to Clover Press, because they appear to be in the process of reprinting the series of Oz books by the second Royal Oztorian of Oz after L. Frank Baum, Ruth Plumley Thompson, whose books I've always actually enjoyed a little bit more than Baum's originals. So there at the bottom, offered again, is Clover's edition of her first book, The Royal Book of Oz, which was actually published under Baum's name. But Kabumpo in Oz, which is their new offering here on this page, it was the first one that she released under her own name, introducing the slightly pompous royal elephant Kabumpo, as he takes Prince Pompadour out on a trip to find a suitable royal bride. So a new edition with new illustrations by Sarah Richard, which I've got to admit are not really to my taste. You know how particular I am about my Oz artwork.
That's true.
Yep, like the skeletal young lady who looks like her limbs are made of twigs there on the left-hand side. That character is named Peg, and she's supposed to be a little wooden doll. And that's kind of a loose interpretation of what a wooden doll should look like, in my opinion. But strays a little bit into horror territory even. But so art's not my favorite, but I'm just glad that these lesser known Oz classics are getting back into print here in the 21st century, courtesy of Clover Press.
Very true. As you can tell, because they're offered again, offered again, offered again, offered again, offered again, as the page has to point out. All right, now onward to page 282. And we have one main offering here. Martin Piero, who follows us on the forums and also on the supergroup, has a book that he wanted to point out because he was part of making it. That's on page 282. Cosmic Times has From Blood. James Wynot and Zach Bassett are the writers, and they are also the artists. The story of a superpowered mental patient. From Blood is an action-packed tale that follows the mysterious Patient 27 as he discovers the truth about who or what he is. For years, he has kept silent, a hulking, indestructible mountain of a man. But after a visit from Dr. Reese, the door has been opened, and all hell breaks loose. From Blood, number 1 there.
Good luck to them.
Times. Yep. Good luck indeed, and good luck to Martin. Page 282. I am about to do some heavy scrolling because I actually kind of agree. There's not a lot of new ones that really caught my eye this month either.
Yep. Not a lot of banner releases drop in January.
Unfortunately,
good point, Murd. Good point.
Yep. Well, one that I will point out, Fair Square Comics on page 292.
Oh, boy.
Yep. One-hit wonder trade paperback. Ariel Olivetti and Various on the art. That's what drew me to it. And Fabrice Sapolsky on the writing. Richie Reese was a terrible child actor. He was the worst. Seriously, he couldn't act his way out of a paper bag. His heart filled with anger, he found solace in violence and everything mafia related until he joined the mob for real. That's where we meet Richie. He's at the top of his game. He's internalized every bit of crazy that Hollywood has thrown at him over his decades living in Tinseltown, but he's become very efficient hitman in the process. When one of the only people tethering him to the last shreds of his humanity is murdered, Richie starts looking for answers. What he finds is more terrifying.
I have a memory of reviewing the first issue of this with Jamie D.
Well, yes, your
Really?
memory serves you perfectly, Chris,
Okay,
because this was absolutely an off-the-rack selection. Jamie picked it.
Wow.
Okay.
And it came out from Image, and the first issue, at least, I certainly didn't read any further than that, was awful.
I remember that too, yeah.
Book
That's right,
harder.
it was awful.
Yes, we
Wow.
used the Buy Borrow Pants rating system in those days, and I usually didn't pants very many things. At least
No,
gave
it
us
was
a low
pants.
borrow.
That's
But
right.
this one was
That's right.
Now, it wasn't because of the Ariel Olivetti artwork. That was just as lovely as you expect it to be, but the writing was blech.
Okay. Well,
I think we all pantsed it now that right? Did we all pants it?
Wowzers.
I think Jamie actually apologized to us for choosing it.
Oh my God!
The big lug, he had never anything to apologize for.
I am now. I'm actually super glad that I mentioned this just for that.
Yeah, seeing that cover, I'm like, wait a minute, we read this. That's right. Okay, the first issue anyway.
Oh man! Well, terrific. If you want to see whether you agree with it, then check on page 292 if you want to read more. I no longer dare to, so I'm not going. Love it.
Ooh, got some fabulous furry freak brothers back there on page.
Oh wow,
264, I think it was.
294, right?
294.
There we go.
Yep, it's under Fantagraphics Books, and the Freak Brothers are getting their own streaming series coming up pretty soon, featuring the voice talent of Woody Harrelson and John Goodman and one other person.
Wow.
But you can read some of the original countercultural material here brought back to you by Fantagraphics. The Freak Brothers have a long history. Their creator actually, he sold his self-published issues of the comic door to door in his home area way back in the early days in the 60s. And this is, I think, some later content here. But it's something you can pick up if you want to read up on the comics adventures of the Freak Bros before their animated adventures come at you.
Yep. And that's Woody Harrelson, John Goodman, Tiffany Haddish, Pete Davidson, and more included with this.
This is part of the underground comics movement, wasn't it?
Oh yes, comics with an
okay.
X.
Yeah.
Yes, it was at the vanguard of that.
Yeah.
Back in the primordial dawn of that sphere of comics production.
Yep. You can watch this animated series for free on Tubi TV. Once again, $2.94.
Scrolling through.
Okay, let's page 303. This catches me just for the name alone. Dungeons and Burglars, Volume 1. Rodolfo Santulo. The world of Dungeons and Burglars is a dangerous one. One can never guess where the knife, sword, mace, fireball, spell, which turns you into a frog, or a troll attack will come from. It is a world where mythological creatures, magic, and warriors coexist like no other. It is also a world like any other where just a few have much and many have nothing. But within those many, there are some who will try to achieve something by any means. Of course, getting what you want is no easy task when things like two-headed monsters, angry witches, or others get in your way. So this is about the guys who steal things from the dungeons. Well done. Dungeons and Burglars on page 303.
And then on page 304, under Hermes Press, we've got some reprints of old Dark Shadows comics, which came out from Gold Key a few decades ago.
Yep.
So these are American comics tie-ins to the classic British Gothic soap opera Dark Shadows, featuring, so some of these stories are written by Arnold Drake.
Arnold Drake, yep.
Co-creator of Dead Man and the Doom Patrol. Characters
very cool.
Macabre and strange enough to stand shoulder to shoulder with Barnabas Collins.
Dark Shadows, one of the longest running anything that's ever happened. I know a few people who have the complete series box set, and it takes up an entire shelf.
I've seen a few of those episodes just over the years. Like, it's just so wild seeing the vintage, like 60s, early 70s style of it all. It's fun.
Yep. Knights at the Dinner Table Midnight Special on page 330.
God, how long has that book been running? Holy mackerel.
It's been around forever, and this brings 5 special issues of Knights at the Dinner Table that have been out of print for over 15 years back in print. Jolly Blackburn and others on the writing and art chores. And yeah, brings back into print a whole bunch of stuff from 2003 and 2004. So good stuff on page 313.
I'm getting keyed up for tomorrow's.
Oh, we're definitely getting there. Yep. But before we get there, page 320, Django Hand on Fire, the great Django Reinhardt. Django Reinhardt is a legend, but Django, which may have meant I awake, was twice born. A first time in the snow during the winter of 1910 in a nomadic gypsy family stationed in Liberchies, Belgium. The second in Saint Ouen, or Wen, near Paris in the fall of 1929, where a fire in his caravan mutilated his left hand. This biopic, devoted to the youth of the prodigy musician, features the passion and determination of the man who has always considered himself the greatest guitarist in the world. And that sounds really damn cool. And Salva Rubio on writing chores, and Afa on the artwork for that one, out of NBM on page 320.
Yep. And right next to it, from Manuscript Press, is a collection of classic alley-oop comic strips.
Nice. Very good. V.T. Hamlin, the writer and creator.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's favorite cartoon caveman. Take that, Fred Flintstone.
And Captain Caveman. Take that, too.
Yeah, he'll take it like a man.
Oh, yeah. Page 324. Chef's Kiss. Written by Jarrett Melendez, illustrated by Danica Breen. Now that college is over, English graduate Ben Cook is on the job hunt looking for something, anything, related to his passion for reading and writing. According to the hiring committees, he doesn't have enough experience, but when he stumbles upon a "now hiring, no experience necessary" sign outside a restaurant, Ben jumps at the chance to land his first job. He's actually not so bad in the kitchen. Plus, he can keep looking for a writing job in the meantime. When he begins developing a crush on Liam, one of the super dreamy chefs at the restaurant, he'll start to feel torn between wanting to stay and cook and following his original post-college plan to be a writer. Chef's Kiss out of Oni Press. That just looks super fun.
So it's basically a yaoi culinary manga, but American style.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Yep. Really, really, really like the artwork too. A couple preview pages on the next few pages. Page 330, Tiny Fox and Great Boar, book 1 of 3. Written, illustrated, colored, and cover by Berenica Kolomika. One beautiful fall day, as Tiny Fox relaxes under his favorite tree, he meets a new friend, Great Boar. Great Boar loves to explore the beauty in nature and the changing seasons, but Tiny Fox thinks adventuring can be scary. But so is the idea of being without his new pal. What will Tiny Fox do? A friendship is formed here, an adorable, adorable friendship with some very kid-friendly artwork.
Yeah, it's great.
Yep. Get closer and closer to tomorrow's. Let's see if anything else jumps out at me before then.
I have to depart after the gym because I have to actually walk the dog.
No worries, sir. We're pretty damn close to done anyway, so it's all good. Yep. I am gonna scroll down to tomorrow's because I'm not actually really seeing anything right now. So onward we go to our favorite publisher of reference material and otherwise. And boy, oh boy, is it a month.
Back issue 134, Bronze Age Rarities and Oddities. Murd.
Yes, Red Atom by me. They got me with a theme like that. I
Absolutely.
Michael Houston's Unseen Earth 2 stories.
Yep, I've never heard of that.
Yeah. Wow. Marvel's Evil Knievel and Kool-Aid Man. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
So good.
Page 363 for those, by the way. And yeah, I want to know about these Earth 2 stories. I had no idea about that. Man. That's great.
The next page, I always like to point out, it's a new printing, but their American Comic Book Chronicles hardcovers are magnificent. If you want to get a great in-depth history of, the progression of the American comic book from the golden age forward, all these, the research is superb, the illustrations they get, and they also put in the wider context of what's happening sort of in culture at that time. They're wonderful books. I can't recommend them enough. And then below that, look at that, American TV comic books.
I was just gonna say, yeah, that is 100% my bag. And it goes over 200, actually 300 television shows and over 2,000 comic book adaptations across 5 decades. That is great.
Yeah. I mean, we forget that there's so many adaptations of both film and television throughout the decades. I mean, you could start you could just do a collection of that if you want to do a fun sort of sub collection.
Yep.
So, brethren, I apologize. I've been called by family to do a variety of things, but including walking the dog. So,
no worries, sir. I think we only have a little bit of manga left to do here. So, thanks for sticking with us,
brothers. As always, it's an honor and a tonic for the spirit. We're much appreciated.
All right.
And I'll talk to you all soon. Good night, my friends. Take care.
Good night, Chris.
All right. And yeah, do you have anything before manga, sir? Because I don't think I do.
I'm not sure that I do either.
Okay. In that
yep, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, then there we go. That makes everybody's life easy. And ladies and gentlemen, Mob Psycho ad. And we move forward. There we go. Don't even change up the ad. It's the exact same ad every single time.
We'll miss him when he's gone.
Yeah, I know. Oh boy. All right, let's see. All right, so I'll call this one out for the Shanes on page 399. Yep. Star Wars Tribute to Star Wars. Terrible title, by the way. I'm sorry.
It's a little redundant, isn't it?
Yeah, it could just be a tribute to Star Wars. Like they could have just did that, but what are you gonna do? Beautiful artwork of 45 outstanding Japanese manga artists and illustrators, celebrating the universal appeal of these iconic characters and their timeless stories. This collection presents each artist's unique tribute to the Star Wars universe, and it's a must-have for fans of Star Wars and manga alike. Really happy that this exists. That sounds like like excellent stuff. It also reminds me that I've yet to watch the Disney Plus series that's a bunch of different artists take on Star Wars that came out somewhat recently. So I'll have to get on that.
I haven't seen that either.
Try to find at least one more first volume here. And then away we go. Oh, actually, page 415. The Seven Deadly Sins, Four Nights of the Apocalypse by Nakaba Suzuki. Return to the magical and thrilling world of Britannia with this new adventure from the creator of the Seven Deadly Sins. Percival has always lived with his grandfather on the idyllic remote God's Finger, and although Percival loves the simple life, he longs for adventure. That is, until adventure comes knocking at his door, tearing away everything he's ever known and leaving him alone in the world. Now Percival has no choice but to go out into the world and see what it holds. After all, it's his destiny. Four Nights of the Apocalypse. New story in the world of Seven Deadly Sins, but also stands alone on its own. Page 415. 417. Daily report about my witch senpai. There's my Japanese title of the of the previews right there. That fulfills my destiny. A sweet workplace romance with a touch of magic. It's basically Bewitched, only in manga form, from the looks of it.
Sounds good.
Masano's an office drone with his own ups and downs, but thankfully he has an ally, his senpai, Shizuka, who happens to be a witch. All you need right there, page 417.
Yep. And that is a prize-winning Japanese title.
100%.
It's lengthy, the grammar's a little wonky, and it contains at least one word that has no English equivalent.
Exactly. and one more, Reincarnated as a Sword, Another Wish, Volume 1. Another Japanese title right there. Reincarnated as a Sword. Reincarnated as a sentient weapon with all memories of his past life except for his name, a magical sword saved a young beast girl from a life of slavery. As his wielder, Fran, the cat-eared girl, only wants to grow stronger, while the sword wants to know why he is here. Follow their adventures in this spin-off manga series. They don't even say what it's a spin-off of.
Yeah, right?
Page 420. Yeah, I'm beyond happy that I got to say those words. Oh man! All right, I think that's about my bolt shot here. What say you?
Yep. There were. I've been finding things to mention in the swag section lately. Things that I'm probably never going to actually pay money to own, but okay. On page 83, there's a really cool looking King Kong PVC figurine, 12 inches tall, standing there, defiantly holding. I think this is Godzilla versus Kong because he's got that battle axe with the Godzilla spine for a blade.
Oh yeah. Oh wow, that's really cool. I dig it. You muted yourself, Murd. Please stand by. There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And one other oversized prize on page 75. If you're a fan of Paddington Bear from Darkest Peru, there's a 20-inch tall vinyl collector doll. Yours for a mere $1,094.99.
If you'll excuse me, I must pause for a moment as I take out my wallet. That is a lot.
Yeah. I have fond memories of that marmalade-loving bear, but it's not that fond. Not nearly.
I don't think very many people have that fond memories of Patty. Oh my God! Yeah.
Can't think of where you'd even display a 20-inch tall vinyl Paddington bear.
Yeah.
But it's just amusing that such things exist, and for that reason, I thought it was worth a mention.
Well, I'll mention for the Nendoroid fans out there, Katie Cook is one of them, and she's trying to control her addiction. On page 64, Chippendale Nendoroid set. They don't even look like the standard Nendoroid because most Nendoroids have like a super deformed look to them. Those are just very, very cute Chippendale figures, and I had to point them out. Those look great.
Their heads are only slightly out of proportion to the rest of their bodies.
Exactly. Yep. So I will stop myself there because, as usual, if I continue to look, I will want to buy things, and I'm not going to. So, enough said. Job well done, and we came so close to having
keeping Chris with
here.
us for the entire March. Yeah,
I know. But dog walking calls, and I fully understand that and appreciate it.
Yep, as do I. I was doing some of the same thing myself earlier tonight, and that's what you saw my father walking back and forth on camera earlier to do. Yeah, nice. To take the golden retriever where she needed to go.
Very good. Alrighty, so mission accomplished, and as usual, we remind you that you, the listeners, are to thank for this very episode, and those of you who do continue to support us over at patreon.com/comicgeekspeak, you are our favorite people, and if you cannot support us monetarily, if you'd like to send us a review perhaps on iTunes, or just tell a friend about the show, that's as good as any way of supporting the show, so do keep that in mind. And now the role of Shane will be played by Mr. Murdo.
Yes, by Mr. Kelly's understudy of choice.
Exactly. All right, whenever you're ready, sir.
If you would like to send us an email, our address is comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. If you'd like to leave a voicemail, you can call 267-702-6642. You can like us on Facebook and also join our Comic Geek Speak supergroup there, where you can engage in discussions and fun little exchanges of comments about the show and other fun comic book related topics with your fellow CGS listeners. You can go to thecomicforums.vanillacommunity.com, which is our original online forum, where you can do exactly the same thing there with our loyal forumite community. You can follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @ComicGeekSpeak. You can go to youtube.com/ComicGeekSpeak to view video versions of all of our recent episodes of this podcast, including this very one. It's always handy to watch along with our scroll through the previews catalog, and thanks, as always, to Ian for putting that together. We like to give special thanks, as always, to those of you who've donated to the show monetarily, either recently via our Patreon or in the distant past. We truly appreciate it, and the show would not be what it is today without your help. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time.
Reset the saga clock.
Nice.
All right.
Are there really 9